folks! Today, we're diving into a heartwarming story of love, loss, and redemption with the lighthouse keeper's daughter. So, let's get started. In a small coastal town, Evelyn grew up in the shadow of a lighthouse. Her father was the keeper, and she spent her childhood surrounded by the sea's relentless beauty. One stormy night, a shipwreck washed ashore, and with it, a young man named Henry. He was injured, and Evelyn's family took him in. As she nursed him back to health, a bond grew between them. Henry was a wanderer with no family of his own, and the lighthouse became a place of refuge. They fell in love, their connection as deep and tumultuous as the ocean itself. But as the storm clouds cleared, so did Henry's sense of duty to his life beyond the town. Months passed, and Henry regained his strength. During this time, he helped Evelyn's father with their lighthouse duties and settled into the rhythms of coastal life. Yet, there was always a restlessness in him that Evelyn could sense. One evening, as they watched the sun set over the horizon, Henry confessed his dreams of exploring the world, of sailing to far-off lands. Evelyn felt a pang in her heart, knowing that to love Henry meant to let him go. On the morning of his departure, the town gathered to bid Henry farewell. Evelyn stood at the shore, her eyes fixed on the ship that would take him away. Henry held her hand, promising to return once he had seen the world. With a final embrace, Henry boarded the ship, leaving Evelyn standing alone with the wind whipping through her hair. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Letters arrived from Henry, filled with tales of his adventures and professions of his undying love for her. Evelyn clung to these letters, hoping that one day he would return as he promised. Years passed, and the letters became less frequent. Evelyn continued her life in the lighthouse, helping her aging father and keeping the light burning for the ships at sea. The townfolk whispered about her, saying she was foolish to wait for a man who might never return. But Evelyn's love for Henry was unwavering, rooted in the memory of their time together. She found solace in the lighthouse, its beam a symbol of her hope. Yet, as each year slipped by, doubt began to creep in. What if Henry had found a new life, a new love, far from the shores of their little town? One day, a stranger arrived in town, bearing news that would shake Evelyn to her core. The stranger, a sailor, had sailed with Henry on his journeys. He brought with him a final letter and a heartbreaking tale Henry had been lost at sea. During a terrible storm, the ship had gone down, and Henry had been one of the many who never made it to shore. The sailor handed Evelyn the letter, which Henry had written just days before the tragedy. In it, Henry spoke of his longing to return to her, of the future he had dreamed of building with her. Evelyn's world crumbled as she realized the man she had waited for was never coming back. Devastated, Evelyn withdrew from the world. For weeks, she stayed in the lighthouse, not eating or sleeping. The beacon remained unlit, and the town's people grew worried. But one stormy night, as the waves crashed against the rocks, Evelyn was jolted by the sound of a ship's horn. Rushing to the tower, she saw a vessel struggling against the storm, just as Henry's ship had once done. In that moment, Evelyn realized her duty. She lit the beacon, guiding the ship safely to shore. As the storm subsided, she found a new purpose in her grief. If she couldn't save Henry, she would dedicate her life to saving others. Years passed, and Evelyn became known as the heart of the lighthouse. Sailors spoke of the lighthouse keeper's daughter who saved countless lives. The light became a symbol of hope, just as Henry had been for Evelyn. She never forgot him, but she found peace in the lives she touched through her work. One quiet evening, as she walked along the shore, she encountered a young man staring out at the sea. He was new to the town.